Oh, right. We forgot. We need a calibration button. We need to spill some blood on this stage. We need to harm your ears with beauty. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring up a sacrificial poet to warm up the audience. Please welcome up the sacrificial poet, R.C. Wislowski.
Hi. Hi. I don't have to worry about time. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Hope you're ready to have fun tonight. I'm hosting the next bout, so I'm excited to be here for this one. This is a poem for any hard-working, blue-collar type of people, whether or not, you know, you don't wear collars? Okay. You do? Well, if you know some, perhaps you know some hard-working, blue-collar people. They speak a certain language, and this is a poem about the language that they speak. It is called Floyd Jones. Floyd Jones is a Jesus cocksucker, with a tongue as hot as Mary's cunt on a campfire, telling whore bastard tales of his fucking mining days in the mountains of the Okanagans to Milkameen. Floyd said, one year we had this young nutsack come work for us for the summer. He was the slut fucking nephew of our cock-faced foreman, and so of course a little cum shot was given the dog fucker special. Driving trucks back and forth up and down that Jesus whore of a mountain. You see, the road was as narrow as a cunt tear and about as straight as a piss trail, which made it safe for only one fucking truck to drive it at a fucking time. You could spend your whole goddamn day with your dick up your own ass and no one would know any better. Well, one afternoon, Jackoff decides that, whoop, he's worked hard enough and he's gonna take a fucking nap. Well, for a cock who went to college, shithead sure wasn't the smartest turd in the manure pit as he parked his fucking truck right there in the middle of CP Rail's fucking tracks. Well, cock almighty, when that bitch of a whore came barreling down those rails like some cunt licker on fire, shit for tits panicked, flooded the truck's engine, and left it stalled there just before that slut of a train smashed it like a fucking pinata. It sounded like Thor smacking his dick on the mountain. We had 5 fucking days of Jesus fuck downtime cleaning up that cunt fucker's mess. When Floyd was done, he sat back in his easy chair like a pope on his throne, smiling like Magdalene smiles when she knows she gets to blow Jesus in the morning. There is something glorious about swearing. It's a form of chanting that's as primitive and religious as stones smashing stones, calling the gods down, demanding they get on their hands and their knees in the mud with us. A private palaver of profanity coloring the air like honeybees swift round the flower, rancid in their beauty, all the while making a window spell checker blush. Floyd's embellishments and prejudices were irrelevant. He drew us into our imaginations, creating an acoustic space that was as divine as any cathedral. And compared to the profanities of commerce and the blasphemies of human self-righteousness, to me, Floyd was a Sufi caught up in dervish, mystically singing his songs. So maybe it's time we all dropped a little tab of acid on the blood-hungry tongues of the sunrise so that we might reveal ourselves as the fragile, vulnerable, and exposed mutants of stars that we are. Thank you. Yeah.
So easy to judge, it seems we do it on a daily basis. We write them off and stereotype all the polarly diverse cases. So here's just one I want to tell you about. It's definitely one for the ages, because he was so young when it happened to him. They say your life, it comes in stages. Now since age 3, as long as he can remember, his life's been surrounded by constant burning embers and the sound of rockets raining more often than water. What's become accepted around here is all this senseless slaughter. He used to have a huge smile. Now he isn't much of a talker. He used to have a sister, but it seems he has forgot her. Because when he was 6, he remembers seeing them storming the house, smacking his father. The humiliation was right on his own couch. Little Layla was then murdered by some warning shots. The screams are always locked up in his memory. I just want to know how you plan to grow when it's all that negative energy. And the shit he's been through has obviously affected him mentally, but still he gets blamed for his neglect to nurture destiny. But he's definitely had enough. There's no one he can trust. When he was 9, he was sent to the orphanage for the age 9s and up. But when he was 11, he had to leave that slummy location because he didn't know from what, but he could feel his guts racing. A lone soldier on his own with no real destination, while the Lockheed and Martin sponsored the bombing of his nation. Now, 14 years old, the boy with enough experience to be a man. He roams the shrapnel-showered streets desperately needing a plan. You see, earlier in his life, he wanted to change this world. Now he sits in his lonesome silence and lets all the untrust unwhirl. And it's a fucking shame because there's so much innocence that they owe him. And I can't even begin to captivate his pain in this poem. It's so incredibly open that his heart's constricted to himself, crouched underneath the perfect concrete tent. You don't know how he felt. It's almost like a switch kicked inside his scabbed heart. And right away, everything in this world started to depart. I think you can understand the importance of direction, especially when your world eats at you like it was an infection. So what do you expect him to do but search for the biggest weapon? His life's been the worst and he's done with all the stressing. Glimpses of his family strolls right through his memory. Wishes he never lived so passively, blames himself incredibly. This is the part where he goes from man to martyr. And if you can't understand that, I need you to listen to these words harder. The stages of his life are consistently getting darker. So please don't write off and stereotype when a bomb to his chest was the best plan he could conjure.
Slam, you are on deck. CPS, who are you sending up? Please put your hands together for David Deliska.
So, I'm dining at this wonderful culinary establishment known as McDonald's. Good old sweet Mickey D's. Hey, take a look at me. I'm dining solo dolo. In my right hand, double cheeseburger, $1.88 with no ketchup, no onions, no pickles in my left hand. Blackberry phone used for messages on my right hand. Half-eaten, grease chicken, double cheeseburger my left hand. Blackberry phone simultaneously used as a dessert. Ladies and gentlemen, this is multitasking at its finest. Now, I roughly introduced him to the story, are two of Toronto's finest, 2 Caucasian cops. Now, I got love for Caucasians, trust me, I do. But I hated these 2 ooby cops. See, the ugly one says to me, hey, you there? Are you awake? See, according to him, I was sleeping there for over 30 minutes and concluded that I looked suspicious. I was hoping that he said the burger in my right hand looked quite delicious, anything but suspicious. I wanted to take the Blackberry in my left hand, upload it to Twitter as a twit pic, tweet to my followers and say that this motherfucker right here says I'm hashtag suspicious with the burger in my right hand and the phone in my left. See, suspicious will be me walking into this motherfucking McDonald's dressed as a motherfucking ninja while carrying nunchucks in my left hand and a motherfucking bag of Burger King in my right hand. See, that would be suspicious. Was it because I was dressed in black pants and black overcoats? Maybe because I was dressed in my all-black skin. Sleeping. How am I sleeping while eating a burger in my right hand and BBMing my phone in my left hand? If anything, he could at least said that I was meditating or something. They asked me, where are you going? Where you come from? Why are you still here? Why am I still here? Why are you here? In my face! Don't you see this damn burger in my right hand? And the other cop tries to be all nice. So, how was your weekend? What? Is this the devil whispering sweet nothings into my ear while simultaneously assaulting my civil liberties? I told him, when I came in here, I ordered a double cheeseburger with no onions, no pickles, no ketchup, but yet I had this bitter taste in my mouth. You motherfuckers that give me the pickles. As if onions was chopping right before my eyes. Inside, I cried because I see the blood splatter on the walls, blood of my ancestors wrongfully judged, blood of Amadou Diallo, innocently shot over 50 times by overzealous cops, blood of Ayanna Jones, killed in a Detroit home, killed by overzealous Hollywood cops, blood of Oscar Grant. Oh, you like that? Going straight from my back, blood splattered so easily I feel his ketchup being squeezed. See, I think that they thought that I was Samuel Jackson's character from the movie Coming to America, here to rob this McDonald's as if I was strapped under my coat, and they was ready to save this McDonald's from the scary, scary, oh so scary black man. Yes, I'm sleeping. Yes, I'm strapped. Phone in my left, burger in my right. Take me down, officers. I'm suspicious.
These are the top 10 ways to getting over your ex. 10. Get fucked up. Go on a bender. Cry and drink your face off. These things go together. It's just that crying at the bar is a one-time deal only. Anything after that makes you a bitch. When you go home, find that bottle of gin you stashed underneath the sink and drink. Cry. Let the tears come to your eyes like torrential downpour, dog. Perpetual precipitation is God himself. Reached out of the book of Genesis and smoked you in the mouth for eating the forbidden fruit after he specifically told you not to. Cry yourself. The biggest fucking river ever. Then picture your ex drowning in it. 9. Stop idealizing him. Stop glorifying, romanticizing him. He wasn't that good in bed anyway. He never paid rent, consistently put a dent in your bank account, and his idea of romance consisted of cuddling on the couch, cutting cocaine drips with a carton of cigarettes. Trust me, your ex was a twisted mess you should have never messed with. 8. Forget that you'll ever be friends. You won't. Fuck nostalgia, fuck being civil, shrivel that relationship up into a baseball of bad experience and home run it into orbit. People who fuck with you are not your friend. If you want a friend that'll fuck you, then by all means, go and get yourself a fuck friend. 7. Delete him. Treat him as if he died. Refer to him only if you must in third person past participle. Don't call, text, email, or BBM him. Ditch your old crew and familiar venues. Bid that shit adieu and replace it with better things. And oh, start buying meat again. You are not a vegetarian. 6. Accept that you'll never get your shit back. 5. Know the difference between love and sex and learn to assess them appropriately. If they were the head and tail of a coin, forget love and call sex, because both head and tail will work for you. 4. Get ripped. Get fuckable. Combine alcohol and exercise if you must. Drunken planks work wonders. Do them off your car, off the table, off the toilet, while you're puking in it. Nobody said anything about class, and sometimes being trashy is just socially acceptable. 3. Get tested. Nothing says I cheated on you like a case of the clap. Zap it away with a single dose of azithromycin. Embrace the shame that comes with it and let the games begin. Wish you were a baller? To stop wishing. Be a baller. Be a slut. Call up past hookups and be like, hey baby, wanna also launch something I like to call the Special Ops Navy SEAL fuck. Strategically fuck your ex's friends. Then sit back and suck deep on the sweet taste of revenge and leave the odds and ends for them to tie, what? Because you're number one, son. Stop giving a fuck. Do what you want to do. Be who you want to be the change you want to see in your world, but be open and honest like this. Yo, I may be single and broke, but at least I provoke thought in this world. At least I awoke enlightened today. One less number in my phone, one less STD with the epiphany of it's his loss, not mine. A blessing in disguise that has now become the most liberating feeling in the entire universe. I am free. I am fuckable. That's right, homie. I fucked your friends. Can I get an amen?
Amen! Andy Kerr Wilson!
My heart hangs by the thinnest of threads. Like a dawn's stillness, quivers, poised, holding its breath. And the fate of the day turns on the sunrise and her smile. But I have worked hard to be free. I've pushed back the fear, the ego, the pride, to open my heart and not cage it. I've offered hugs and not chains. I've pushed love out, not away. I've summoned the courage to ask nothing. I've stepped up. I've risked scorn to give and find love just in giving. I know that love given in need is not free. It seeks payment, creates debts, it demands, and it's righteous. I know that love, that asking for love is a lie, told to myself in my weakness and fear. It is the sin of my pride wrapped up in the words of my heart. But still my heart hangs by this thinnest of threads. Like a summer rain, it waits, suspended, for a change in the wind. The air, thick, motionless, hangs on a whisper, just like my hopes for her smile. I know that true love comes from a source that we all share. It flows up, it shines out and reaches between us. I know I just have to surrender, not give up, just give in and let it go. No miracle, no cure, no program, no treatment, just me and my heart and my courage. But still, my heart hangs by that thinnest of threads. In darkness, by moonlight, snowflakes fall to my hands, to melt in a moment from the warmth of my touch. Gone like my hopes for a return of her smile. High fidelity!
On the night I became a suicide bomber, I wore a golden vest and a Flavor Flav clock. As I sat alone in your home, committed, ready to die in praise of smoke and shadows, joining a nobility of martyrs, sitting on the fringes of a new sunrise, waiting to explode in the name of my beloved. I'm in love with she, dressed in all black, everything but a wedding ring. Moving to the smoke of the illusion with a militant mystique, she prays for days on end without sleep. She stays in the skid row of society's ways. Her rebellion is bioluminescent light in the cell block of modernity. I said I'm in love with she who inherited way too many mistakes to remedy. So she grew up rearranging her father's intestines artistically on the prayer mat. Lullabies for genocide, forming a tribe called suicide. We'd welcome death to the same headphones like back in the days way before the invasion, before 9/11 and the first detonator. You could find a slave to the power that the words bring. My pop said it reminded him of when the birds sing. I said, but daddy, don't you know that things go in cycles? They colonized the mind, they used to do it with a rifle. Stifling it is to fall in love in these Roman times. So fed up with feeling divided, we rub the ashes of our flags on each other's face. If she had spoken any English, she would ask you, what of loyalty towards monarchies, priests, and nation states? Men giving other men authority over men is a copyright infringement against the sovereignty of God. So fuck a ballot box when we box over ballots. A revolution with quotes, not votes. Mix the pot, then mix a lot. Then meet under the crescent moon in the shadows, dressed like a ninja, because they said the clothing that oppressed her were dangerous signs for a sister. But terrorists don't need therapists. Plus that grudge against Father Time is a little bigger than a daddy issue, so she wouldn't even come close. Reserving herself for God, she wouldn't even rehearse to hold your hand. All rights reserved for the one who came before the word, but rights reversed and severed by those who preserve their life to be worth more than the earth. And then the burbs are on reserves. This warfare is cosmically rehearsed. Come to Lydia's, we'll figure it all out at a poetry slam. She said, nah, too many phobias in a slam. Plus, you're in love with the idea of listening to the voice of God. Well, I expect nothing less than a standing ovation. You want to learn the calligraphy of God, but translation is at best an echo. Let me show you the infinity of God. A lover learns in the language of my burqa. Are you ready to lift the veil from our bodies and return to living as one? She held a grenade in her hand. I pulled the pin. Her head wrap fell and I saw the mirrors hidden within. Her body kaleidoscope as we collided in smoke and she was gone in a blink of an eye. And that's when I realized death is but a blink of an eye. Wore a golden vest and a Flavor Flav clock when I sat alone in your home, committed, ready to die in praise of smoke and shadows, joining a nobility of martyrs, sitting on the fringes of a new sunrise, waiting to explode in the name of my beloved.
ladies and gentlemen.
Daughter of Eve, you followed in her footsteps. As the dawn of a new day approached, you ate of the forbidden fruit, and without shame your tongue traced the plains of his chest, and your taste buds were alive with the essence of passion for the first time. No berries could satisfy your hunger when compared to this apple's tender flesh, and at best the times you spent intertwined along his limbs, fusing your healing scars with his crooked heart, were your Garden of Eden. And when you were made to part, it was with the knowledge that good and evil cannot be so different, for without one there is not the other, and without the other one cannot survive. And so your hunger thrived. But this apple was long used to be bitten by beauty and left to rot among the roots of his mother earth, so when you left, daughter of Eve, you left him empty. He feared the Lord, and in your absence he was left to endure the endless burrowing of worms, chilling mistrust in his decaying soul. Upon your last return, his embrace left you coated in ice, and frost brought silence to the garden where once sunrise brought hope. Unable to cope with the guilt of a good turned evil, he sent you back to Adam covered in bruises and with hatred in your heart. Hatred in your heart. The anger blazed like wildfire until the garden was a bitter wasteland. And when the last flame burned out, you knelt, as if in prayer, cupped the soil in your hands, and planted the first seed of your new life. From that seed grew the roses in your cheeks blushed. The ability to trust, the realization that love does not disguise itself as lust, and wait on the days until it reveals itself by exploiting you and crying, hush, hush, follow me into the dark, hush, I won't understand, hush, hush, hush. Love doesn't leave you when he leaves the room. And the snake-eyed beast that dripped blood from his poisoned teeth onto an apple and told you to eat was just a nightmare you dreamed while Adam was off fetching you berries and returned with his heart on his sleeves to rock you to sleep.
Or Spilius, the ridiculous one.
When they were 6, my twin daughters asked for 2 very different things for Christmas. Chloe wanted a makeup set and Barbies. Jessie asked for boys' underwear, men's dress shirts, ties, and a skateboard. 4 years later, she's still wearing those boys' clothes, but it hasn't been easy. In grade 1, the boys wouldn't play with her because she was a girl, and the girls wouldn't play with her because she looked like a boy. And even this year, the lunch hour supervisor questioned her about going into the girls' washroom. She always gets mistaken for a boy. And even now, even on this soccer team that she's on that I coach, her teammates still use he more than she. And I'm wondering now what he or she even means. See, because at our house, she's just Jessie. And though we use she to describe her, that doesn't seem to define her. And I forget sometimes that outside of our safe family bubble, things are hard for her. Like that time at Dairy Queen when she had to get buzzed in to use the restroom, and they buzzed open the men's room. And so she tried and she couldn't get in, and so I said, can you please open the ladies' room? And they said, but she's a boy. And I said, no, actually, that's my daughter. And they still argued with me. And so I said, do you want me to pull her pants down to prove it to you? And they said, well, I guess so, if you insist. Folks, these assumptions are dangerous, and I am so proud of her for moving forward through her life despite all of this. And I'm trying to make this world as safe as possible for her to become whatever it is she needs to become, because I never felt that I had that choice. See, growing up on the prairies in the 70s, things were pretty black and white, and I always felt pretty gray. And I remember vividly that day when I first put on a bra. It was my mom's. And I know that sounds really weird, but it felt really right. And Mom, yes, I'm sorry. I stole your bra. And you know, I borrowed some other clothes too at other times. And you know what? For so long, I've been so afraid to say anything, so scared to run from normalcy, so scared that one day my daughters will look in our underwear drawer and see the sexy, lacy panties that can't possibly belong to their stepmom, so scared that someone at school might catch a glimpse of those sexy, lacy panties, so scared that I might lose my job or the respect of my colleagues and friends if they find out about my sexy, lacy panties. And now everyone knows about my sexy, lacy panties. So Jesse, this year for Christmas, I'm asking for girls' underwear, a pretty dress, double D breast forms, a sexy bra to hold them in, and if you can spare it, a little bit of that courage that you use to move through this world in spite of the overwhelming odds against you. And then maybe, together with your help, we can become whatever it is we need to become together.
TPS, you are setting up Kathy Patch!
Alright, people, I don't know if you noticed, but it's cold as shit out there. Let's warm up with a fucking cheer. Yeah. I'm gonna say, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, sell flowers. Because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell flowers, alright? What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
At 5 a.m., they have us lined up, firing squad style.
Marching up and down the road,
Yelling
yelling like they watched
Full Metal Jacket
over
lines last night.
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
The warehouse is full of would-be criminals,
Have been criminals,
are gonna be criminals,
new Canadians.
and teenage runaways.
This is their idea of motivation.
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
These,
Buckets of ice. Come on, flower seller.
and we are gonna sell flowers, roses, and carnations out of buckets of water on busy street corners that slowly turn to ice.
And at the end of the day, we'll take 10% of fuck all and take that home in cash.
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
And why are we gonna sell flowers?
Because all you need to do this job is to hand over your photo ID at the beginning of the day.
And this suits us refugees,
The
the
parolees, and the kids who can't get jobs when they say stuff like rent.
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
These flowers are flown in from Colombia every day.
And we don't have to guess what else might be.
When the drivers race Cubans around us
Fight with forklifts,
and
bug eye rip us off.
What are you gonna do?
Sell flowers!
But what are you going to do when every door has already been slammed in your face?
When you spend all your family's life savings to get to a country that doesn't even recognize your education.
When all that's keeping you from going back to jail is saying that you have a job.
Where welfare barely pays the rent and you still have mouths to feed.
When you cannot stand to say,
I don't have a job.
I don't have a job.
One more time.
What
What
are you going to do?
Sell flowers!
LANARK County, who are you sending up? B. Put your hands together for B. Wilder.
Thought I knew what I was talking about when I came up here tonight. But every time I take the free fall plunge, my tongue has its own mind. So forgive me if I offend you by what I'm about to say, but I have no clue what it's going to be, so it's just got to be that way. But I kind of know the topic, because it's been brewing since I got here. And really brewing since last year in Toronto, I fear. There's a part of my anatomy that's really dear to me, but people take its name in vain, and it pisses me off, you see, and I really need to say something about it. And this is the venue that I choose. But stop calling people pussies and cunts. because it adds to the abuse. If you use it to reclaim power, to talk about your own sexuality, then I am really fine with that. That's not a problem with me. But when you tell people that they're a fucking cunt if they don't do what you say, or that you're a goddamn pussy if you beat women on a given day, it leaves women like me feeling assaulted. Like this isn't a safe place, and I really want it to be, and that's why I'm speaking this piece. I want us to come and be witches, and bewitch you, and bewilder you too, but I don't want to be here as bitches that somebody thinks they can use. My words should be important, more important than what's between my legs. You shouldn't expect me to get down on my knees and have to say, I beg of you to listen to me, you poets who do things that way. I understand you have your own perspective and you feel that's how you can say what you need to say. But we need to engage in a dialogue. We need to not just say freedom of speech. Gives any of us the right to, in a sense, hate preach. I couldn't come up here, use the N-word or the K-word or many I could name. So why can you call people pussies? To me, it's exactly the same.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome up Dylan Williamson!
It's 2:02, and everyone knows nothing good happens after 2. But your watch is slow, and you want to come home with me. We get to my room, and you dig your toes into my carpet of clothes, and you comment that my room feels like high school. And I quip, that's what I love about high school rooms. I get older, but they stay the same age. You laugh, awkwardly. Not getting the reference, but quickly distract me with a sexy strip dance. You raise your hands above your head and gyrate till your dress hits the floor. I exhale a sigh of relief because for a second there, I thought it might stay up and defy gravity like a hula hoop, which would be the cruelest use of centrifugal force since Russian G-force testing on space monkeys. And I must be some sort of sensory junkie, because while I should be scratching down mine quills into down, taking mental notes of the way you look in this moment for future days caged in nursing homes, but I move right onto your bra with its 4 clasps. And 4 clasps seems excessive to me, but honestly in this moment your entire bra seems excessive to me. And as my fingers fumble feebly, I start eyeing the samurai sword on the wall as a viable option for removal. But alas, with the twitch of my wrist, success. Damn, I really wanted to use that sword. But success nonetheless, and you uncover a pair of breasts I could straighten Cyril Sears' nose. And I once again, the junkie, move in real close and infringe on panties with fingertips, all innocent. Like a cat who only wants to pet the birdcage. Your panties channeling pearly gates, keeping me out of the places that pearly gates keep guys like me out of. Because panties are like kitties in trees, and they only come down when they're good and ready. And I'm thinking about phoning the fire department, because firemen seem to be so good at getting kitties and panties to come down. And if that doesn't work, they always have the jaws of life. Or maybe I could use a sound, holy God, the bum lift. Sorry, let me explain. God, of course, Father of Jesus, lover of Mary, and the bum lift, universal signal for, okay, you've suffered enough. And it's amore, and my eyes are open wide like a big pizza pie, only there's one piece cut out like old school Mickey. And I'm so excited I'm gonna start whistling like Steamboat Willie. And afterwards, when we're laying in bed, me having blown off my steam, I think of how I wish we could do this forever. But we can't, because we dehydrate and die. But then I question, why not? Maybe they could take our dried remains of ecstasy and press them flat in a book to be forgotten together for a century. through the polar ice melts of the 2050s, through the nuclear dolphin attacks from when they learned our technologies from our sunken cities, till we're discovered again in a book depository and donated to the new Louvre for public proof to the post-apocalyptic youth that good things can happen, even after 2.
Sending up. B corresponds with Britta. B.
I am a product of pretending everything is perfect. My mother would never let me out the house without making me wait for her to take her sweet time to do her hair and makeup. Every day she'd make the same mistake of letting herself think that if she looked good, she'd feel good. But now I am a part of a cycle where I'd rather keep a long-distance relationship with the ones I love the most because I know what it's like to want to run away anytime somebody gets too close to home. And home is just another number on my My5 phone plan. I'm scared for my mom's well-being. See, she doesn't like to listen. She doesn't like to take a medicine. Those doctors don't know shit. I confess, my mommy still spoon feeds me. Disaster, you call it. Literature, I'd argue, for she gives me every reason to write. She's the one who gave me this life. Anytime I have trouble sleeping, I blame it on the fact that she gave birth to me at night, alone. See, she's the only one who didn't just dig a hole and bury me in the back of her mind, the same way my biological father did the day that he found out that one day I'd be alive. Hey, Ma, you must be the only one who knows how much I love the moon. We've seen so much darkness together, and now, right now, all of those memories of all we've been through seem to want to come up the moment I'm alone in the middle of a park, and for no reason at all, I cry. And when I cry really hard. It's like embarrassing hard. So for the sake of the public eye, I try my hardest to stop. But the more I try to stop, the harder I cry anyway. But because I'm a product of pretending everything is perfect, I tell everyone who looks at me that I'm okay, but I'm not. See, today my mom told me to please accept the fact that when you're not feeling well, you avoid some things. And I started to convince myself that she's only avoiding me, because for the past 3 weeks, every time I call, she just lets it ring, and I'm getting more and more pissed off at how she keeps ignoring me. You never pay attention to me, Ma, and I scream it like a little drama queen, but she just whispers back, I'm afraid to let you see me like this. And I wish with everything in my heart that she hears me when I say, you're not perfect, Ma. You are worthy. You're the one who taught me that. Ain't it enough? Of course, she says. Ain't is not a word.
Give it up for Surrealist!
I find it amazing how news crews spend their time carrying cameras, driving vans, and hauling heavy hardware up Satan's asshole, yet they seem so surprised when all they find is evil shit. Based on these evil deeds, I've seen people believe in the apocalypse, so I decided it was my time to remind minds that the world's not lost and sick, but covering all happy news alone is harder than it seems, so I proudly present to you the Canadian+slam news team, starring Hyfadelic with the Arts and Community Report, Proofrock with all relevant sports endeavors, and V with the weather. But first, our top story, poems. Are they words? Are they more? Is the world ready for poetry? Slam poetry. With this report, we'll turn to Hyfadelic live in Saskatoon.
I'm here at CFSW 2012 in the Paris of the Prairies, where yet another rat bastard has reportedly ruined it for everyone. Wizards have arrived from across the cosmos, gathering ancient stories from the ether, weaving literature to create never-before-seen scenarios memorized in cubicles, parking lots, basements, and bus stops. Lines gifted by the sun, encrypted in lungs to be lifted by tongues, later to be refined through hearts and minds into a neighbor's helping hand. Charity, or children brushing their teeth without being told. The most ancient of human rituals taking place right before the end of the world.
Any thought on potential winners?
Well, I'm not one to make predictions, but I think is the guaranteed winner. Back to you, Nate.
Thanks, Ed. Here's for the sports report.
Our focus today lies in the single-parent division of the Everyday Grind Olympics. The early morning portion of the day often proves to be the most taxing, but across the city, country, and globe, single parents rose to the occasion, breaking all previous records in the mixed parental arts, such as the child wake dress clean, the healthy breakfast feed, and the lunch bag toss across the street.
Later tonight, we'll check back in to see how the rest of the day's events unfolded, including the 100-meter dash, the 4-foot pedal long jump to catch a late bus to work,
the double-hour shift tuition power lift,
the 5-block toddler carry,
the one-hand diaper change,
the Barney's Playtime sing-along marathon, and of course, dinner decathlon. That's proof with Sports V. We need weather reports.
Believe it or not, the sun rose for the 100 billionth time in a row. But towards the end of the afternoon, we should expect to see showers, so take the time to consider that this water has traveled. From oceans to rivers to glaciers to lakes to ponds. From ice to liquid to steam to cloud to rain to snow and beyond. And if that wasn't enough, when the sky is clear, we should expect to see a complete double rainbow.
All the way across the sky?
It's so intense!
Prepare for 100% possibility of unforecasted possibilities. Guys, are you hearing me?
What does it mean?
So there you have it. 3 up-to-the-minute hope and happiness reports of the billions happening every day, but we can't cover them all, so it's up to you to go. Find an assignment, forget darkness and stress. This is a news revolution fought by hearts filled and blessed, so go. Follow the flight of hope's true soaring from CFSW 2012. This is the Canada+slam news team reporting.
Give it up for Tanya Newmeyer.
A few years. I'm glad I don't have to do this more often than that.
I rode my bike here. I hope you don't think it looks like a smush sandwich down there all the time.
Time flies. Do you remember me?
Scooch, scooch my cooch, scooch my cooch, scooch my cooch, cooch, cooch.
Remember me now? Oh, I see you've lit the room for porn. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh, there's no need for lube.
Lube, please.
Hey, got any more nurses kicking around? Bring them in. I like to be watched.
As if. There's a poster on the ceiling declaring open wide. I mean, self-care is sexy. But a speculum. An explanation for the audience. The pap smear is an important part of a woman's physical. It's a test for cervical cancer and sexually transmitted diseases. The instrument used is called a speculum. It's a long stainless steel duck-bill-like instrument smothered in lube. Once the patient has scooched to the edge of the table, it's inserted and opened and locked so that the doctor can take samples for testing.
Well, maybe it's weird to want a Daffy Duck-bill looking thing that seems seductive, but I don't know how else to welcome it.
Queer folk need paps too, but I prefer my girlfriend inside of me.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
I know I should totally be at work right now, but I woke up this morning with this urge to feel your cold metal lips pressed up against the inside of mine.
All I'm saying is, doctor, do your job well.
Doctor, do your job well.
As in quickly.
You touch me here, touch me there, drop brushes in the baths, treasures in the tubes. How easily medical science could ruin this enchanting afternoon we're having together. I mean, you gave me this robe to wear, and it opens in the back.
I know this part's supposed to be painful, because it looks like you got your hands full over there, but I can't help how good it makes me feel to open up to you this way. So, once every few years,
scooch, scooch my cooch, scooch my cooch, I let a doctor go down on me. Oh, and doctor, I'm keeping the gown and the speculum.
comes when all the faces on the planet have the complexion of dry grass. When every person has the skin tone of khaki pants. When Raphael from France resembles Winnie from Guinea. Imagine, old women will no longer clutch their purses as we walk past each other, not making eye contact. Word like nigger, spick, gook, cracker will have no relevance, for they will have dissipated like the foul night birds of an unclean dream. For how can you have malice towards the person facing you when their face is so similar to the face in the mirror? I pray for the day this racial separation is totally typed out and the love of humanity can be heard in stereo. The rate people would learn new languages would be astounding. No more distinction. A global family, connected like conjoined twins, systematically striding towards unity and equality. Reservations will be reserved for dinner plans only. Old ways and thoughts will fade like the setting sun on a summer evening. Some may call this cynicism, but the powers of acute observation are usually deemed so by those who do not have it. My path is clear and my stride is steady towards this. I meditate on the day when hypocrisy will fade like a fart in a fan factory, harboring nothing but love and happiness, destroying loneliness and painful memory. These are the visions that keep me awake. This is the thinking that allows me to get out of bed each day with a positive attitude and face all the struggles life will give me willingly. For too long, we've allowed the ways of the past to cloud the possibilities of a brighter future. For now, this can only be seen in dreams, but reality starts in the mind. Some things may take longer than we have. Some will last longer than it takes the oceans of the world to turn to deserts and return again. I know that I will not be around to see it, but I know that day will come. And on that day, we will finally know the meaning of the words harmony, peace, and affinity, eternally.
Kill it, Sam.
My back aches with the weight of heartaches, born of heartbreaks that break me like stones crushed bone, stealing my strength and shortening the length of my spine. I may not stand straight, but that's due to the fusing of the lower bones, curving my backbone, not a weakness of will. So don't think a straight back chair will give a fair measure of how straight I sit, especially when it's just a fence in disguise. I'd rather tear it down than straddle it to hide where I stand, even if I don't stand tall. Having a short distance to fall only means I don't have as far to rise above it. See, I don't have to be big to be bigger than you. And the only backbone I need to show is the tattoo of scars in my heart. Cradled like a babe in a crib in the cage of my ribs, anchored to the vertebral stepping stones of my backbone rising from my pelvic girdle, the way a tree rises from its roots. Sometimes life's burdens can turn me inside out, but that's okay, because I have felt the strength of my bones inside in a way I cannot describe. With my baby's head pressed against the inner prominences of my pelvis and her passage from my body where she lay cradled against the curve of my spine for 9 months. The stretch and shift of my hips in that time to find a new understanding of flexibility, teaching me to let go of rigidity the way a willow bends in the wind. Bowing to let the breath of desperation pass through without breaking me. Bending supple to the unsettled waves of labor pains, bearing me to the shores of motherhood. My backbone pressed to the breastplate backrest of the sister who had my back, taking me back to the way it always was when birthing thrones were the stone bones of Mother Earth's ribs curved into cave walls, cradling our hearts against her spine. Her exhalations woke the rock to talk in whispers of sisters' cries echoing through time with mine as I stood with my back against that wall, so I wouldn't fall from the grace of the primal energy that climbed my serpentine spine like a stairway to heaven whose open gates waited with my widespread legs for an angel to pass through with glory. And her spine pressed in passing against the tail of mine is a story as old as time, strong as the backbone of Mother Earth, lifting in ridges like the ones running down my back, tracking back to the stone bones that burst my greatest grandmothers before me. And I knew then there'd be days when my back would ache with the weight of heartaches born of heartbreaks that break me like stone crushes bones, stealing my strength and shortening the length of my spine. But the measure of my backbone isn't in the count of bones in my back or straightness of their track beneath my skin. Because the strongest and tallest I've ever stood was laying down to motherhood, to a newborn babe at my breast.
Yeah. Yeah! Johnny McCrae!
So on Thursday, I'm disembarking from this ferry, and that's when I see him. He's wearing gunmetal gray, cargo pants and shirt, and on his left shoulder is a red patch with a swastika. Seeing his beard and long hair, I want to believe he's just a confused hippie who's wearing his peace symbol the wrong way. Because otherwise, I would want violence. You see, in an hour, I'm going to be holding my niece, Sinead Sunshine. And never has a middle name been truer. Sunshine sets hearts glowing with a smile as ready as she'll look you in the eye. And my sister tells me every day is a blessing. I wake up and Sinead just looks at me and smiles. She's always smiling. And if she gets grumpy, my brother-in-law just hums, doom, 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 and she just starts laughing. You see, Black Sabbath is already her favorite band. And for her, I want to be Iron Man. I want my gunmetal gray crushing those who would rob her of that sunshine. Sunshine, smiling from her eyes, she is overjoyed anytime she is surrounded by other human beings, smiling at anyone who will meet her gaze. And I want this man to meet mine. I see his swastika and red beret and the Confederate flag on his right breast. I want to believe this is a mistake, but there are cotton balls choking my tongue, for though my sister birthed sunshine and my blood runs in her veins, you wouldn't know it from the color of our skin. And coursing through my veins is not only sunshine, but my cousin Jamala and my Jewish cousins Aaliyah and Joseph, and so rage, seeing this hippie-looking man wearing hatred on his shoulder, that flower of thorns and crooked petals, pollinated by violence, whose fields were fertilized with the blood of men my grandfather loved and lived for, teaching him the only result of war is more war. That flower whose blossoming strikes fear into my veins because I am also his enemy, because I love the wrong blood, because when I see this man wearing gunmetal gray and hatred's flower in the Southern Cross, I want to punch him in the back of the head and kick his ribs until he coughs blood just for existing, and I know that makes me no better than he is. And so I tell myself, he really is just a confused hippie, wearing his peace symbols backwards. Yeah.
In fourth place, with a 100.4, please give it up for the last wordsmith. In third place, with a 100.9, wow, it's so close. Wow.